everybody, I know it's been a long time since I made a video last, but I've been kind of busy, and I haven't really had a lot to talk about, but today I will be talking to you about my fabulous Christmas present that I got. It's this book journal, and you can't tell, but it's got a bunch of cool names, like, etched into the cover. Sweet. So I'm just going to go through and read to you the entries that I put in here today. Well, just some of them, because some of them get long. So first of all, I added VidCon and graduation to my events. 4 months till graduation, 5 months till VidCon. I'm excited. Anyway, okay, so first up we have An Abundance of Katherines by John Green. This is probably my favorite John Green book. Let's see what I wrote about it. My two my favorite quotes that I could remember off the top of my head, it's been a little bit since I read it, are, "You do Herman shit all the time," and "I want to have a eureka moment." Also, I've got some really cool ones that I want to put in there that I can't write out because I have it on audiobook, so I need to get a physical copy of the book first. Let's see. Under my notes I wrote, "John Green is my favorite. Just saying. Also, I kind of love Hassan. And this kind of reminds me of Siddhartha." Yep. So that kind of sums that up in a nutshell. And then my opinion of it is probably my favorite John Green book. We'll see. He's got more books than I think. But for now, I heart Katherines. This book is witty, funny, and manages to teach a great lesson. Just as wisdom is not teachable, love is not graphable. Siddhartha reference. Anyway, next is Anna and French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, and I don't have any quotes because it was a while since I read it, and I only read it the one time, unlike An Abundance of Katherines that I've read so many times. It's insane. So my notes on this are, I usually don't like romance novels. I really enjoyed this one. Mark the history books. Also, it was hard to believe Perkins is not a teenager. She was so able to capture the thoughts of teens. It was like reading how I think, which is kind of fun. I wrote, it was unpredictable, rarely cheesy, funny, teenagerish, everything I, as a teenager, look for in a romance novel. More realistic than most. I like realism. I really do. Let's see, that one's a sequel to another book, so we won't read that one. Let's see, next I think we go to The Neddiad. Just kidding, where'd it go? The Neddiad by Daniel Pinkwater. The Neddiad is about a boy named Neddy, whose father just ups and decides that they're going to move to San Francisco, California, and they take a train there. And he meets a new friend named Yggdrasil, but she prefers to be called Iggy. And he goes on a giant adventure with a shaman and a new friend, and there are lots of turtles, and I really do love turtles. One thing I will say about Daniel Pinkwater is he is a mad genius. Like, some of his stuff, you're just like, how does someone come up with this? He seriously has to be a little crazy. Anyway, next. Paper Towns, another John Green book. Yay, John Green. Okay, this one I had to say, it's not just about an epic road trip, but the road trip was pretty sweet. And I like the idea of the grass and the strings. I like the open ending that makes you wonder about Q and Margot, and I like to misimagine their future adventures together, or not together. Okay, next I have Siddhartha, which was the very first entry I ever put into this. You can see it's all filled up. I did this last night and today. So what I had to say about this one, I read it for world literature. At first I sort of hated the character Siddhartha, and then he grows up, and you're like, wow, you're actually really cool. And he is, like, literally awesome. His journey is so inspiring, and he must have been so full of wisdom to be able to write this book. I would recommend it to anybody who can read, should read this book. It's just, he goes on such this great spiritual journey that just makes you, like, go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And some of my favorite quotes, the very first quote that made me laugh I have in here, because it's a very serious novel, so for there to be something to make me laugh, I thought it was pretty memorable. It was, this is after his friend Govinda has said to him, if you would have stayed with the Samanas, dude, you could have learned to walk on water. And he's like, I have no desire to walk on water. Let the old Samanas satisfy themselves with such arts. And I thought, oh my gosh, he has a sense of humor. And, then quote, which is, "Then, from a remote part of his soul, from the past of his tired life, he heard a sound." And I wrote Eureka there, and I wanted the Katherines reference there. And then also one that I really liked was, "Knowledge can be communicated, but not wisdom. One can find it, live it, be fortified by it, do wonders through it, but one cannot communicate and teach it." This is something that I agree wholeheartedly with. You have to experience things to become wise. You can't just learn how to be wise. And let's see. I think that is no, I skipped. Oh my goodness, I skipped Levithan, but you guys already know what I have to say about that book. I did a review on that book. So, yes, my final entry for right now is Will Grayson by John Green, of course, and David Levithan. And I wrote, "Freakin' hilarious. Love. The contrast between both Wills makes for an exciting read. I recommend this to everyone who loves books. Also, I wish Tiny Dancer were a real musical." Fingers crossed. Not only is it a story about, like, romantic love, but it's more about, like, the love you have in your friends and the love you have in your family. So it's like an all-around love story, without, like, being all like, "Oh my gosh, I love you, I can't live without you, cliche, you are my world, Twilight, cheesy gag." So, this was a really long video, and I will see you guys the next time I decide I have something to tell you about. Toodaloo!